Hey everyone, this is Mondo All Day here. So today I'll be going over my build for Black Panther and just showing you guys how I was able to pass Cosmic Trial with my current build for Black Panther. I'll be going over the artifacts, the uniques, reviewing the synergy points where I spent them, the power points, as well as the omegas. And you don't really have to have a lot of omegas, so I'll be using about 3,000. So I'll be going over that in a bit. So let's get started. So as far as for artifacts, I'm using the growth serum. I'm using it for the damage rating and for the health. 1060 health, and for the visual increase, but I'm mainly using it for the damage rating, the health. And this is a very common artifact. It's not even one of those hard ones, difficult to find. The next artifact is Scrollnix Fury Eye Patch. This is kind of like a unique artifact. You do get it in Chapter 10. When you defeat Chapter 10, you defeat Nick Fury. So that's where you can get it. So it's easy to obtain, but I'm using it because of the health, the defense rating, and it gives you that damage rating to bosses. Now for the Medallion, I'm using the Curse Medallion because it gives you the melee power damage. It gives you 455 damage rating to melee powers, 173 brutal strike rating to melee attacks, and 170 to melee attacks, critical hit to melee attacks. So again, Curse Medallion is very, very good for this build. Next is the cowbell. It is a bit annoying artifact because you definitely hear the cowbell, but I'm using it mainly for the critical damage rating. And whenever I hear the cowbell, that's indication that I'm getting 4200 critical hit rating for about 4 seconds. So it's a very common. I've seen it a couple of times, but if you have it, perfect, use it. If you don't, it's all good. You can use a different artifact. Next one is a Crystal of Cataract. Very common artifact again. I'm using it mainly for the health and the physical damage rating, and also for the visual size increase. For the legendary, I am using Excalibur, item grade 70. Ideally, you want to have it to rank 5, but I have it rank 4, so this just proves that you don't have to have everything maxed out in order for you to pass Cosmic Challenge. If you do, perfect, be beneficial. If not, again, if I can do it, anyone can do it. For the ring, I'm using the Bloodstone. I'm using this one specifically for the physical damage rating, the 1+ fighting attribute. For the move speed and health, for this build, the summon is really irrelevant. So if you are using Black Panther, is a little bit of summon, I guess is be useful, but for me, for this build, I don't really care about the summon. So sorry about that, everyone. My internet went down for some reason. So reviewing his ring again. So Bloodstone, using it for the physical damage rating, the fighting, the move speed and health. Not so much for the summon because I don't really use summon. For this build, I don't use summon, so that's for the ring. For uniques, they're all Black Panthers. So for Ebony Blade, Thrice Blessed Armor, Blessed Belts of Panther God, Boots of the Kola Tiger, and Wakanda Necklace. So again, these are all uniques from Black Panther. I don't use any rare or very specific unique. So any of these uniques, you can easily get them. Just do the High Town. Does either cosmic or regular, and you get a unique from there. For the costume, ideally you want to have critical damage from grade 1 to 4. As you can see, I only have grade 1 to 3 critical damage rating, but you want to have grade 1 to 4. This critical damage is huge in this game, very important. So again, grade 1 through 4 critical damage rating. For the core, I can't remember which core I used, but for this one, the reason why I used this specific core is because it gave me that 1 strength and 1 intelligence and 136 damage rating to melee powers. And all of his powers are melee. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but all of his attacks are all melee powers, so very, very useful. Obviously for the visual, Snow Flurry, as you can see. And for insignia, you can use a better one. I'm using this one mainly for the defense rating because it gives you 1,226 defense rating and the 390 damage rating to area powers. So I only use really for area for Jungle Snare and Signature, but the main reason is because I'm using this specific insignia is because when you critically hit, you gain 147 defense rating, but you get 279 physical and energy damage rating and 3% chance to deal 8,000 energy damage when hitting an enemy. So, and the only energy attacks that I use is Jungle Snare and Signature. I use Jungle Snare a lot, so it's a win-win. But you can find another Signia that's way better, but I use this one. Now for the pet, my main focus was more for melee powers, so anything with melee. So for this one, I got gain 3 spirit when you hit with basic power, which I have, which is Claw of Slash. I use 3% damage rating to melee powers. Again, these are all melee, which is beneficial. Cosmic, I couldn't max it out on time for the Cosmic Trial, and for the unique, I got 2 strength. Again, I'll be reviewing a little bit why I'm choosing strength of fighting for the attributes and why, but after I go over the Omegas. Next, let's do Hero Synergy System. I spent 1 point on Black Panther for the melee power damage and move speed, Cable for the critical chance, Colossus for the health 3% increase and physical damage rating, Hawkeye for the move speed and critical damage, and Loki for the damage to slow targets as well as for the spirit cost reduction 5%, which is pretty good. Total defense rating, Luke Cage, and physical damage. Nightcrawler for the melee power damage and melee, get 4% right there if you sum it up. Rogue, health on any hit and spirit on any hit. Wolverine for the brutal 2% brutal strike chance and 5% damage brutal damage rating. And X23 for damage to bleeding. For Rogue, you don't really need it. I just chose this one, but you can go with probably Moon Knight because it gives you physical power critical chance. So either go with Rogue or Moon Knight, doesn't really matter. For the Megas, for Neural Enhancement, none. Arcane, none. Interstellar, 1 for Sakaar because it gives you deflect rating and melee damage rating. 3 points on Hala for the physical power, critical hit rating, damage rating, and brutal strike for any physical powers. And again, majority of all my powers I use are physical, so it's going to be beneficial for any attack. For special weapons, nothing. Mutation, I use 4 for Warpath because it gives you that fighting attribute, which I really want. And then Frenzy because when you use a melee power, it gives you critical damage rating. Now all of these are
the Panther can be a patient hunter for a time.
Get that extra 1 or 60 critical damage rating, so that's a very good one. For Radioactive, 1 for Harpy for the critical hit rating and brutal strike rating. When you hit with melee power, again, all of my attacks are melee, so this is another stacks of critical and brutal strike rating. And then 2 here for A-Bomb because I like this one because you have 5% chance so that when you attack with melee power, you activate Chameleon mode, which turns you invisible, and you gain 180 damage rating. So main thing I'm looking for this one is the Chameleon mode because it gives you the invisibility, so you can actually do damage while not being seen. So nanotechnology, 5 points to Spin Tech because it gives you that damage rating to bosses, and as we both know, Cosmic Child is all about bosses, so if you have more than 3,000, definitely try to max this out. For the human augmentation, 1 point for the X-Tech cybernetic body upgrades because it gives you the physical defense rating and physical damage rating. 1 point for Deathlock program, physical damage rating, and then 2 for Reaver program because it gives you that percentage base physical damage. For psionics, I put 4 for Melt Face because it gives you that brutal damage rating. This is huge. Sorry about that. I don't know what's going on with my internet, but it kicked me out. But going back to the Omegas, we were at Melt Face. It gives you the brutal damage rating. So if you have more than 3,000, definitely place them here for points. But I only have 4 left, so. Focus, Strength of Group. Now, this is where I'll go over the attributes. I place 1 here because it gives you +7 strength attribute. Yes, there's a con to it. You do get spirit reduction of 70 and reduce move speed. 7%, but you get that strength. Okay, and you want that because with this build, a lot of his attacks are physical, and so you want to get strength because in the attribute for strength, you get a percentage rating, base of physical damage rating. So that'd be very beneficial. And then for fighting, it gives you the 30% base damage, and then brutal strike rating, and then brutal damage rating. So the more you increase strength in fighting, the more he's gonna get more powerful, especially with his physical damage rating attacks. Jungle Snare and Wrath of Bass, you won't benefit that much, maybe just fighting, but for all these other attacks, anything in strength would be huge for him. Very beneficial. That's where I spent all the money on, Focus Strength of Groom and and Warpath. Molecule Adjustment, none. And that's all. For the powers, 20 for Claw Slash, 20 Knockdown Sweep, Savage Strike 20, Panther Leap 20, Unseen Predator 20, and I mainly did it for Vicious Claws, and I'll go over it why. Panther Soul 20, Panther Grace 20, Signature obviously 20, Jungle Snare 7, and then for Dura I put 1. I put 1 because I'm not using the summon, I'm only using it for the passive. So with the passive, it gives you 10% of dodge rating, deflect rating, and it gives you 5% damage increase. So even if you do 30 here, the passive is still going to remain the same. So that's why I only put 1, and I use the faraway assistance. Now, for Unseen Predator, I chose Vicious Claws because it gives you a 200% extra damage with Panther Leap and Knockdown Sweep when you attack someone who's bleeding. Hence why Savage Strike, I max it out, because Savage Strike is damage rating. It gives you bleed, and you really, really want that. And so, my rotation, and this is where the fun part is, my rotation is pretty simple. So when you use Selfie Escape, he turns invisible. So what I usually do is I walk around and I place Jungle Snare. So you can, the max you can do is 3. So what I do is I move around, I place Jungle Snare. Okay. Then what I do is I use 2 of Savage Strike, and then Panther Leap and Knockdown Sweep. I do this because when you whoever you're attacking has to be bleeding, and so in order for you to get that extra 200 damage, they have to be bleeding. So hence why I use Savage Strike. So again, move around, I plant Jungle Snare, and then sweep, and that's really it. And then just after that, just do the basic claw slash, basic attack. That way I can increase my spirit. So again, set up Jungle Snare, 2 or 3 strikes, Savage Strike, depending on how much spirit you have. Once it's bleeding, Panther Leap and Knockdown Sweep, and then just do claw slash. Okay. Now, whenever I see a big boss or someone who's very difficult, I use Unseen Predator. I use Unseen Predator because it gives you that buff of critical hit rating. But also too, you don't spend any spirit at all for a certain amount of seconds. So basically, what you can do is you can literally set up again, or you use that, and once you see your spirit go down, that's a sign that you're Today's not a good day. I keep getting internet cut down. Sorry about that. So again, it's very, very simple. It's just Unseen Escape, snare, and then Savage Strike, 1, 2, leap, sweep, and then basic. Depending on how much spirit you have, you can just keep going with Savage Strike because it gives you so much damage. But that's really it. And then for signature, you can use it whenever. whenever you have the opportunity to use it. So that's really it. Now for Cosmic Trial, a couple of tricks. I use Team Up Deadpool because his signature is server lag. So what that does is it stuns enemies and it kind of freezes them, and it gives you enough time for you to actually, again, do the setup or to do a attack. So if you have Deadpool with you as a team up, you can freeze them and gives you enough time for you to do more damage. Also too, if let's just say you're attacking Red Skull and he gets in his little shield, and you and your team up are attacking Red Skull, and he gets in his shield, and you start attacking the Sentinel. But if you see your team up, in this case Deadpool, is still attacking, Red Skull, even though it's not doing any damage, what you can do is, and you'll see in my Cosmic Child run, I usually escape, like go from a distance. That way, and I'll show you. That
looks
way,
like you got yourself a posse.
And then go back and start attacking the Sentinel, and then my team will start attacking the Sentinel. And then get that extra little damage. So again, so let's say this is Red Skull, and you're attacking him, and you see that he goes into his shield, and he and then you see team up, and then start attacking the Sentinel. Damage from your team up, and when you start damaging Sentinel, you can defeat that Sentinel and start making Red Skull. Now for Black Panther's ultimate, the good thing about his ultimate is that a lot of its area, so you can utilize it whenever you see Red Skull. You can utilize it right away. I say that because certain characters' ultimate require to have no other enemies, just the main boss. In this case, Skull. So. And with Black Panther, you can literally use it. Use the attack, but also attack their boss. If you want your item, you can definitely just demolish the other machine, the boss or enemy. But that's it. That's really it. Like I said, you don't have to have maxed out items or artifacts. Again, my legendary is not even maxed out, and I was able to pass Cosmic Trial. The ring is not the best one, but it's doable. I'm not even blessed my forged. The insignia is not even the best one. I'm not even maxed out some of my certain moves. So, and again, I only use 3,000. I have 5,000, but I use about a little over 3,000. So, with this build, you can definitely pass Cosmic Trial, and you want to, because when you pass Cosmic Trial, you have the option to do the other Cosmic, which give you way better bonuses, with better XP, in which you can actually get a lot more Omegas. Compared to 3,000, or that I use, you can use 5,000 or whatever. Alrighty, if you have any questions, or please leave it in the comments, or message me, and I'll be happy to assist. Alrighty, thank you.